Mindless scrolling and the platforms are responsible, or mindless parenting and Prince Harry is responsible? What am I talking about? Take a look at this.
This is one of the problems that I have. I mean, we're both dads. These apps have been specifically designed to hook and keep children online for as long as possible. This is one of the problems that I have.
That's right.
Mindless scrolling. And
So welcome back to Black Belt Secrets. It's been a while, but with all my talk about education in my recent videos, particularly now I do have strong feelings about this, which is why I veered somewhat into opinion land on Black Belt Barrister. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Daniel Shen-Smith, the Black Belt Barrister, a practicing barrister who occasionally puts up a video or two on YouTube. Try a few thousand over the last few years. And so recently I've been quite vocal on my law channel about this VAT to private school issue. For those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, because I know I do reach a slightly different audience here on Secrets than I do on my law channel, the UK new Labour government have proposed that they're going to put VAT on private school fees, which is going to affect probably, I think the region is about 600,000 students across the UK, many of whom will be displaced and have to go to the state school instead of their current school. So it's going to disrupt their education and obviously uproot them from where they are. And there is no, I take this from an old psychologist friend of mine who said one of the most devastating things you can do to a child is to disrupt them during their education, and particularly at certain years and so on. There's more effect than others, but to disrupt their education is one of the worst things you can do. Which is one of the reasons, actually, special mention for those that are in the military and the armed forces, because they do get assistance with sending their children to private schools, because it will be the least disruptive because of the size of the classes, and they can more freely move in and out of those schools than they can state schools, because state schools have got fewer places available, and so they will be affected as well. And I hear that many military service personnel may have no choice but to remove them from private schools because they simply won't be able to afford it. Anyway, for much more on that, I've got a playlist with videos with over 1 million views on now. I'll link that below. But what are we talking about here with this whole Prince Harry thing? Now, he's described it as mindless scrolling. Now, everyone will be familiar with that. Now, I also have very strong views about that. Now, on the one hand, yes, I think it's absolutely right that certain platforms will target young people and they want to keep them on the platform longer. They want to keep them scrolling. They want to feed them up material that's going to hook them and keep them on there. That is what they do. That's how they make money. I'm here, in my small efforts to provide entertaining, educational, informative, useful videos here on YouTube. Exactly the same thing. I know as a content creator that watch time is king. Now, I need you to click through and watch the video. I need you to watch more of my videos and so on as a content creator. The platform cares about how long I keep you watching for, which is one of the reasons I talk a lot. And one of the reasons my channels are successful, because I talk a lot. And so the platform wants to keep you on longer. So that's one thing. That's in one sense, that's perfectly fine. That's what it's there for. But that is also why these platforms have minimum age restrictions for people to use them. And specifically, obviously, talking at children, they have specific age limits before which children are allowed to use, or supposed to be allowed to use, these platforms. And I say that because Prince Harry here is complaining about the mindless scrolling of children on these apps. Now, it's not clear from this video whether it's his problem. It sounds like he has this problem with his children mindlessly scrolling on these apps. Is that really his problem, a problem that he is having with his children? Or is he talking about a problem in general with children in general, parents in general, having that problem with their children scrolling on these apps? Either way, for me as a parent, I think that is the parent's job. Take away any evil that you might see in any of these platforms in keeping children on the platform. The platforms are doing what the platforms do best. They are trying to keep children on the platform, not children, they're trying to keep people, Freudian slip, they're trying to keep people on the platform for as long as possible. They have age limits, so they don't recommend beyond a certain age, below a certain age rather, that these children are supposed to be using these platforms. But that's one thing. Take all that aside. In my personal opinion, we are on secret, so this is a flat out personal opinion here. When we go down to personal opinion level, I think it is the parents who are mostly responsible for whether these children are on these platforms or not. Surely. Because if they don't have the device, they don't have the iPad or the tablet or the phone or the whatever it is, if they don't have it, they don't have access to it, they don't have free use of it, then they can't be mindlessly scrolling. Surely that's logical. If they don't have it, they can't do so. My son did not have endless access to his iPad and endless access to a phone, and therefore, at his age now, he does not have that mentality of must be on the phone all the time, must be on the iPad all the time. And I think that children should be guided in that way by the parents. Screw what the apps do and encourage children and hook children onto using these endlessly throughout the day. It's the parents' job, surely. So when we come down to education, I take this very seriously. And as I've said in other videos, I did not go to a private school. I went to a comprehensive school, and I was brought up to be playing outside, doing sports and so on. One of the reasons I'm a martial artist, I've done martial arts for over 30 years and always been involved in sports and so on. So I never felt that kind of hook with technology either. I mean, throughout my early years, the internet wasn't really around, and I was in the old age of dial-up, where you get kicked off the internet because someone rings the house phone. So those are the sort of days I came from. But these days, with you pick up a device and it's so readily accessible to the internet and games and so on and so on and so on. In fact, I have a bit of a moral dilemma at the moment. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, because I do take partners, sponsors from now and again on my channels, both here and on my main channel. I have one at the moment, which is with, I'm not going to say, obviously not going to say who it is, that inherently involves some sort of game. And so I have a bit of a moral dilemma. Now, obviously, taking partners and sponsors is good for me. It supplements my income and helps me to spend more time on these videos. Otherwise, I would just spend all time working. You can see my law books up behind here. But I have a bit of a moral dilemma about this, because it involves a game. Now, I haven't fully decided yet, because it's not one of these that I would consider is really bad. It actually seems pretty good. I'm not going to say too much about it, to not to give away who it is, especially if I end up doing it. But I have a moral dilemma with that, because it is something that I always say on my channel here. I would never recommend something to you that I wouldn't use myself. For example, now this is not sponsored, but I do support and provide partnered videos with NordVPN and Incogni and Holy, which is the water drinks. They are fantastic water drinks, genuinely, wholeheartedly. I drink them myself. Again, not a sponsored video. This is me telling you what I do in the moral dilemma that I have. I will link those things below so you can check them out. There are discounts and stuff that I provide you on here, but they are not sponsored mentions. But I have the moral dilemma with things. So, for example, I have a wine cupboard over here. I no longer drink wine or beer or anything for that matter. I think it's 394 days, I think now, since I've drank any alcohol whatsoever. And so, as I say, I would never recommend something to you that I wouldn't use and recommend myself. Now, because I don't drink alcohol anymore, I've turned down sponsorships with big money from drinks companies that wanted to sponsor my channels here. And so I have a bit of a moral dilemma with that. Certainly with the drinks, I turn it down because I don't personally use them. And so when it comes to things like this with apps and parenting and things like that, and I watch videos from prominent figures, much more prominent than me, liked by many more people and probably disliked by many more people than me, Prince Harry talking about mindless scrolling on a phone. On the one hand, good, because it does raise awareness of this problem. On the other hand, I think it's a parent issue. I don't think you can't just blame the platforms. It's a bit like blame the user. When you have someone, you build a website and you blame the user for getting something wrong because the website doesn't work in the way that the user would like it to work, and they blame the user. I'm a big advocate of don't blame the user. If that's how the user did it, that's how the user did it. The developer needs to fix it so that it works in the way the developer wants it to work, and fix whatever it is that the user did wrong, if that makes sense. Let me know your thoughts and comments, especially if you are a parent, especially if you know a parent. Let me know your thoughts on this and your thoughts on education in general. As I say, I've got a list of videos with probably 1 million views now between them on that playlist in the description below. But it's about time I come back to you on secrets here, and we're coming around to Christmas around the corner. We're nearly at the end of October, then we got 1 month, and then we're in the month of December for Christmas. So yeah, I know it's a while away yet, but I am planning Vlogmas as well, and I might even start up daily vlogs. Let me know if you want daily vlogs with my thoughts, my real opinions on the daily news, such as this one here. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.